Hello, on behalf of the Department of Natural Resources and Missouri State Parks, I welcome you to the annual public informational meeting for Arrow Rock State Historic Site, Boonslick State Historic Site, Sappington Cemetery State Historic Site, and the Sappington African American Cemetery State Historic Site. I am Site Superintendent Cindy Imhoff. Each year, Parks and Historic Sites hold informational meetings so we can ensure our citizens have the opportunity to give input regarding our facilities and our services. The Missouri State Park System has 93 parks and historic sites with over 160,000 acres for public use. The park soils water sales tax provides about 75% of the funding for the system. That sales tax is split between Missouri State Parks and the Missouri Soil Water Conservation Program. The remaining 25% of funding comes from revenue generated right here in the parks. The mission of the park system is to preserve and interpret the state's finest examples of natural resources and cultural landmarks, and to provide recreational opportunities compatible with those resources. Arrow Rock State Historic Site is the oldest state historic site in Missouri. Arrow Rock State Historic Site was established in September of 1923 when the Daughters of the American Revolution persuaded the Missouri legislature to purchase the J. Houston Tavern for preservation because of its association with the Santa Fe Trail. The tavern was the first structure set aside for historic preservation purposes using public funds. The formation of Arrow Rock State Park on acreage surrounding the tavern makes it one of the first units in Missouri State Park system. Arrow Rock has been characterized by early historians as the most historic spot in Missouri. This small community has the impact on regional and state development in the 19th century. The National Park Service has certified Arrow Rock State Historic Site as part of the Lewis and Clark National Historic Trail and the Santa Fe Trail National Historic Trail. Multiple structures within the historic site in the village of Arrow Rock are individually listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The Department of Interior designated the boundary of the town and the state historic site as a National Historic Landmark in 1963. And in 1966, the George Caleb Bingham home, which is owned by the State Historic Site, received its own recognition. Arrow Rock is perhaps the only place in the nation where there is a National Historic Landmark within a National Historic Landmark. The mission of the site is to preserve and interpret the history, architecture, and artifacts associated with the 19th century Arrow Rock and the surrounding region, known as the Boonslick country. The Boonslick country was vaguely defined area along the Missouri River whose core encompassed much of what is now Howard, Saline, Cooper, Sheraton, and Boone counties. The name was derived from the Boonslick Salt Works in southeast Howard County, which is a satellite facility of Arrow Rock State Historic Site. The site also interprets the life and contributions of area residents who had a significant impact on the state and national events. Examples include George Caleb Bingham, Dr. John Sappington, Governor Meredith Miles Marmaduke, and Claiborne Fox Jackson. Arrow Rock State Historic Site differs from many other state historic sites in that it has a strong recreational component. This includes a 47-unit campground with a modern amenities, picnic area, and shelter house with playground accessories, a 4-acre fishing lake, and a 1.5-mile hiking trail. The site consists of 167 acres. There are approximately 120 acres of site ground and natural state, including woods and prairie. The park staff works closely with our natural resource team on prescribed burns of the prairie. In the upcoming year, we look forward to more stewardship work on removing invasive species. Within the historic site, there are many historic structures. They include the Joseph Houston Tavern, built 1834, George Caleb Bingham House, built 1837, Dr. Matthew Hall House, built 1846, the Academy Boarding House, built 1829, the Courthouse, built 1835, the stone jail, built 1873, the Cordy House, built 1858, the Ansel House, built 1861, the WPA Shelter House, built 1935, and the Lawless Farmstead, built 1903. Under our care is also the Sappington Cemetery State Historic Site. This site consists of 4.28 acres. Buried within the site is Dr. John Sappington, his wife Jane, Claiborne Fox Jackson, and Meredith Miles Marmaduke, along with others of the Sappington family. The Sappington African American Cemetery, recently dedicated in 2021. By 1880, Black Americans comprised more than half of the population of Arrow Rock, Missouri. Many of these formerly enslaved individuals provided labor to build many structures in the town and to cultivate hemp and tobacco, which were labor-intensive crops grown in this area before the Civil War. In 1856, Dr. John Sappington, a prominent Saline County physician, set aside land for a cemetery for his enslaved people. Any burials before 1865 were unmarked, so most of the 350 burials in this cemetery are unknown. After emancipation, this cemetery was used for generations of Black Americans with links to the Arrow Rock community, with the last burial happened as recently as 2012. This cemetery stands as a reminder of the Black culture and contributions to this area. Interpretive panels at the site provide information on the sacrifice of individuals who made an impact on the history of this little town and in the state of Missouri. Their contributions will not be forgotten. At Boonslick State Historic Site, visitors can see the remnants of one of Missouri's first and most important industries, salt. Timber and rolling green hills drew settlers to Cooper, Howard, and Saline counties. But it was salt that made the area grow. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark noted the presence of many saltwater springs. Daniel Boone's sons commercialized the largest of the area's springs, opening up a salt business and shipping the salt, which crystallized after the water was boiled away, to St. Louis by keelboat. This site has an outdoor exhibit that interprets and explains how salt became big business in the Boonslick country. All of this is cared for by 5 full-time employees and 5 seasonal staff. Overall attendance for 2023 was over 70,000 visitors. Of those visitors, 11,000 of them enjoyed our campground. We are thankful for our Missouri State Park Rangers, our local and state law enforcement, and our volunteer fire department who provide aid to our facility when needed. Over the past year, many small maintenance and repair projects have occurred. New HVAC went into the Cordy House and repairs happened to the home, such as painting and sheetrock repair. New HVAC was installed in the Visitor Center Gallery. Painting and plasterwork was done on the Academy Boarding House, as well as the porch on the Hall House was repaired. Major projects include the demolition and removal of the 1960 Shire House. With the removal of this, a modern Shire facility was put in its place. Future projects include renovation and expansion of the campground with some new sites going in, painting and plaster repair of the George Caleb Bingham home, major repair to be done on the Lawless Farmstead with the help of funds secured by the Friends of Arrow Rock, and window repair and sill replacement on the J. Houston Tavern. The mission of the site is to preserve and interpret the history of this site. We accomplish this goal by preserving the artifacts we have on site. Our Visitor Center Museum is home to many of these artifacts. We currently have over 5,000 artifacts on site that are cataloged and in our care, and probably another 2,000 more waiting to be cataloged. The artifacts range from large items like wagons to items as small as buttons. A number of valuable pieces include artwork by the well-known Missouri artist George Caleb Bingham. The site owns 3 of his original portraits. Along with the interpretation of artifacts are our special events. Each year, the site works closely with the village to bring many of these events to the town. In the spring education programs are offered to the surrounding schools. These programs help fulfill state standards for our school children. We are able to teach Missouri history to well over 1,000 kids annually. In addition to spring education programs, we offer Children's Craft Festival every other year. The annual Heritage Craft Festival is hosted every October in the village, and recently added is the Spooktacular event in the campground in October, and a visitor favorite, Old Fashioned Christmas. Our volunteer group, Arrow Rock Stock and Trade, provide reenactments of the Santa Fe Trail a few times a year. We host special exhibits in our small gallery when the visitor center is open. The visitor center includes interpretations from Native Americans to modern day times. All programs are free and open to the public. Thank you for watching and attending our virtual public meeting presentation. Please feel free to share this link with your family and friends. We welcome your feedback as this video will be posted until the end of the month. If you have any questions, you can reach us at the Parkside office at 660-837-3330 or email us at Arrow Rock State Historic Site at dnr.mo.gov. You may also use the comment section to provide feedback focused on the operations at Arrow Rock State Historic Site. If you have other questions or comments, you can email moparks@dnr.mo.gov. The site contact information is also listed in the video description for your convenience. Thank you to the citizens of Missouri. Our state parks and historic sites are supported by 0.5% of the park soils and water sales tax. This sales tax allows for free access to Missouri's 93 state parks and historic sites. Remember, you are always welcome in Missouri state parks.